So friends, welcome back to this session. In the last class, we met with a bold lady and the character's name is Suryamani. She loves the forest very much. She protects the forest and she conveyed a strong message to protect the nature. Today, you are going to watch a short video right now, and in which you can see some of the characters who are striving hard ahead of difficulties, ahead of hardships, striving hard to attain a goal, to reach their destination.
We all know it, walked it every day. But none of them were like these. Freezing, climbing, risking their lives, all for the chance of a better future. Spectacular and sometimes simply beautiful. Fear, hunger, and exhaustion are their constant companions. Helen and Mariela try to cross over the snake hill as quickly as possible. They know that if they were to get bitten up here on the mountain, help would arrive for them too late. The Rivero family are coca farmers, like so many people in the Yungas. A finger-width steel cable leads from his house across the valley, a kind of homemade zip line. It's about 650 feet above the ground and already 30 years old. They've made it over the Snake Hill. Only one small sip for the long march. About 1,000 feet across the valley. Still have more than half the way to go. Finally, they're going downhill for a short, safe stretch. The water has made the sharp stones slippery. Within minutes, Helen and Mariela climb under a rock ledge. Helen's old shoes are much too small for her, and her toes hurt.
We want to play in the water.
The girls enjoy the waterfall. At home on the mountain, there's only just enough rainwater for a quick wash.
Keep going.
Made it.
Okay, now that you have watched that video, I'd like to tell you a story of a boy here, right? And that boy is planning to go through the forest, right? And what are we doing now, right now, We are just following that boy. Okay, whenever he goes through the forest, we are also following that boy. Okay, and the story is given in your textbook. The name of the story is How Far is the River? Okay, How Far is the River? It's a very interesting story of a boy. It is written by, Ruskin Bond, one of the eminent writers of India. Because he is an Indian writer, he writes in English. The Indian writer who writes in English, and he has also written so many novels and poems also. Right? So I'll give you a short information, short profile of about Ruskin Bond, okay, and that you can take it down later from the screen itself. Okay, now let us move to the passage. Okay, and friends, if you don't have the textbook, you please take down from the screen itself, and one by one you can see, and it is displayed on the screen itself, so that it is easily to write down, or you just read from the screen itself. Okay, yes, so let us read now. Okay, first you read very silently. Okay, then only you start loud reading here. Right? And one more thing, you may come across some of the unfamiliar words here, right? Some unknown words or some new words to you. If you have just come across that kind of words, you have page number 33. There is the glossary. You just consult that glossary there in page number 33, where you can see the meanings of these unfamiliar words. I will also display the unfamiliar words, probable words, and also with example it is written in that page number 33. Okay, you just take down the unfamiliar words from the screen itself also, right? So while reading, you will follow that boy, right? So you just capture the images. You just capture the images, the pictures that you have seen, that you are going to see while reading that passage. Okay, and keep it in your mind, right? I will ask you something about that images later. Okay, so read very carefully and listen to each and every words and read it silently. Then we can read loud later. Okay, and take or capture the images of that forest, and you will find where is that boy going. Right? Yes, read it.
Between the boy and the river stood a mountain. The boy was young and the river was small, but the mountain was big.
So, have you read the passage very, very carefully?
Yes.
Have you enjoyed reading?
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
You are always going through that boy, right? That boy. Do you like that boy?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. And where was he going?
river.
He was going to the river. Yes. Okay. See, I am sure that you might have gone through some of the beautiful pictures, beautiful images through that forest. Right? And my question is, say, you might have come across some characters in that story. Who are the characters? Number one, of course, that bold, sturdy boy. Okay. Then woodcutter. Okay.
Village boy.
A village boy is there. Then
A girl.
yes, a girl. Okay, with bangles. Yes, a girl. Then milkman, like that. Okay. Yes. Now I can see on the screen 4 columns are there. A table is there. Right, and each column represents boy, woodcutter, girl, and village boy. Okay, you have to complete that columns by writing the specialities of each and every character. Right, I'll give you some examples also. See, the boy, you can write sturdy boy. Okay, and the next column, woodcutter, a short man, like that. Then a girl, holds a long curved knife, like that. Or the village boy driving goats, like that. You just complete the specialities, or what are they? Okay, or 5 or 6 specialities in each columns, right?
Sturdy boy. barefooted boy helps the village boy. Strong minds.
Girl cutting grass wears bangles.
Woodcutter, powerful man, hard muscles, weathered face.
Village boy walk together, smiling face.
Friends, now I'm also going to present you a very beautiful image, picture presentation, clips by clips, plus some videos are also added to it. Right? And for what purpose? This will help you to recollect the images that you have seen. Because while reading, some of the images might have stuck on you. Understand? Some beautiful images, right? And some sounds that you have heard from that forest and also from the river. Okay. And the things that you have felt, you have sensed in that forest. Right. So go through that presentation. I will also come with that presentation. While you just watching that presentation, you just recollect the pictures, the images, the mental images that you have seen or felt or sensed or heard from that forest. Okay? He was about 12 years old, a sturdy boy with untidy black hair and shining black eyes. He had fine features and a clear brown skin, but his hands and feet were rough and scratched. He was barefooted. He stood in front of his house on the hill opposite the mountain. Between the boy and the river stood a mountain. The boy was young and the river was small, but the mountain was big. It was a thickly forested mountain that hid the river. He had never seen the river with his own eyes, but from the villagers he had heard of it, of the fish in its waters and of its rocks. He wished to touch the water and know it personally. His parents had gone to visit their relatives. Then the boy decided to go to the river. He wrapped the loaf of bread and left home. The path to the river dropped steeply into the valley. It was frequently used by the villagers, the woodcutters, milkmen, and mule drivers. The boy passed a woodcutter and asked him how far it was to the river. The path was steep and the boy had to run most of his time. It was a dizzy, winding path. The hill was covered with lush green ferns. The trees were wound in creepers, and a great wild dahlia suddenly reared its golden head from the leaves and ferns. He met a girl who was coming from the opposite direction. She held a long curved knife with which she had been cutting grass. The boy ran down the path. A parrot suddenly screeched. A trickle of water came from the hillside, and the boy stopped to drink. He saw another boy ahead of him, driving a few goats down the path. He unwrapped his loaf of bread and broke it in halves, offering one portion to the village boy. They walked on together and began talking and talking. But after some time, his companion had to diverge along another path. His own home was also hidden from view by the side of the mountain. He walked on along the hot, dusty, stony path. He walked past mud huts and terraced fields. Now there was only forest and sun and loneliness. Now there was no man or any sign of man's influence, only silence. As the boy rounded a sharp bend, the silence broke into sound. A sudden roaring sound, the sound of the river. Far down in the valley, the river tumbled over rocks. The boy slipped and stumbled, but still he ran. Then he was ankle deep in the painfully cold mountain water. Wow, what a wonderful sight! The water, blue and white. See, as I mentioned earlier, you have seen some of the beautiful images. Some names of images are displayed on the screen itself. See, path, then water, then what? Then about forest. See, what is your task is, see, path, water, forest are some of the names. Okay, some of the naming words are there. These are nouns. Okay, some noun or naming words are given in the circle. And what is your task? You have to describe these words. You have to describe these nouns. So we need some describing words, like a word son. You have to write the describing words to describe that noun words or the words like path, the names. Okay, see, I will give you an example here. Suppose if you say the word flower, it's a name of a thing, right? Flower. How can you describe that flower? Yes, beautiful flower or small flower, like that we can describe that now. So here the word flower is the naming word or noun, and the word beautiful is the describing words, or we call it as adjectives. Okay, so both noun and adjectives are there. On the screen you can see there are three words. One is path, then water, then forest. You have to fill or complete that word sum by writing the describing words, or add some describing words to describe that three nouns. Okay, so do it very quickly.
Steep path, hot path, stony path.
Rainforest, silent forest, wild forest, singing forest.
Water, cold water, sharp water, blue water.
So from the story we learned a lot of lessons. The first thing we learn is never give up. See, a boy who has a strong mind, a very self-confident mind, and he was so much determined to reach his destination. Right? That was the very good lesson that we are taught in that story. What? He hasn't given up anything. That is why he has never returned. Right? He has gone his journey through a very difficult area. He moved and reached the destination. So friends, if you have such a strong mind, if you have such a determined thing in your mind, you can attain your goal. You can reach the destination. You can go and travel wherever in that world, So that's the lesson. And now that you have completed reading, and of course you have watched the presentation also, I like to say, while reading that passage, you might have come across some of the questions that were given on the right side of the passage. I think now it will be much easier for you to answer all these questions, because you just go through that passages and you just go through that presentation or videos. That will help you recollect the images. So it is very easy. And some other tasks are also being given in the textbook and that you can do later. See, the first one, of course, in page number 13 you can see, and I will also display here on the screen itself also. See, you have read the story, how far is the river, haven't you? Now try to remember the story and complete the following suitably. Right here in that columns you can see the sentences that impressed you the most. Then the moment you enjoyed the most, like that, you just complete the things after it. Then the second one that you can see here are the thoughts of a boy after his natural walk. You just identify the words or phrases he is used to express his thoughts and write them below. That is the next one. And of course the third one is a thought. When he was actually going with that village boy, the village boy has to diverge his path, then he becomes lonely. He was alone. So my question, at that time, what could be the probable thoughts in his mind? You just write down the thoughts itself also. Okay, so for the time being, I think I had better wind up the class right now. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed the listening activity, then the other activities, and of course you have watched that presentation of course, and I hope you have enjoyed the class very well. Okay, so see you later. Bye.